Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Today we got a i7 3770K. Just turn down the fan. Alright. So... Whoop. Just move this for people to join. Somehow we got cat hair again on it. Alright. So today we got this shield guy right here. So this here is an i7 3770K. I have delidded it. I have lapped the die on it, so the actual die has been lapped. I'll show that later on. Then we also got the IHS. It's just a heat spreader. It's been lapped on both sides. The front side's been lapped until full copper, and then the back's just been lapped until it's fairly flat, basically. Just flat as I can get it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good for what I have. Most times when you're lapping these things, you just use a piece of glass and sandpaper for the IHS. And then with the die, you also use sandpaper, but you could be using different kind of sandpaper. Just a really, really high grit, basically. And then you just gotta take your time flattening that. Still gonna do it like the same way. You're gonna have like a nice piece of flat surface. Then you can attach whatever you're gonna lap it with. So there's actually like a whole bunch of different lapping techniques you can use. I just use sandpapers, and you can get different kind of sandpapers that more or less people. Oh, hey, Nunya. How's it going? So this here is just the i7 3770K. Again, this thing here, it's just been lapped. You can use different kinds of sandpapers or lapping stones or lapping plates, as long as it's flat, right? And then you just gotta take your time, make sure it's all flat and evened out, as in both sides of the die have to be even sides all around, perfectly flat. Then you're gonna have to match your backside of the IHS that's gonna touch the die. You're gonna have to match that. Then you have to do a bunch of tests, and you can use thermal paste, just a dab of thermal paste in the center of it, and you just gotta put the actual IHS back on, like so. And you just gotta press down in the center of it like that. You gotta let go. You gotta use either your spreading spatula or whatnot, and you can pull this up. Check out how flat everything is, as in how much silicone or thermal paste is still on the die and the IHS. If there's very little, as in almost... Oh, I could be freezing up. I switched over to a different Wi-Fi. Looks like I'm freezing up. Yeah, I'm definitely freezing up. I'm gonna have to switch back over to my other Wi-Fi. I thought this one would be better for the streaming, but it's not apparently. Well, I might have to cut this one short. It's not too bad. It's looking pretty bad on my end, to be honest. From the one I'm watching, it looks really bad. So I would like to show the die in that later on, and I kind of need a decent stream to actually show it, or else it's just gonna look like a regular die. It's not gonna look like I've done anything to it. Well, thanks for telling me. It's a good thing Dang, that really sucks. I was really hoping the other Wi-Fi would be better for this. Yeah, it's just a CPU. It's an i7 3770K. I just took it apart, delidded it, and then lapped the die and lapped the IHS both sides. I'm trying to get 5.2 gigahertz onto it, which is a lot for the CPU, but I know I can get it. I got 5.1 before, but I'm trying to get 5.2 for Pi 32B. It's for part of the competition. And if I can get this to 5.2 gigahertz and I can overclock the RAM to about 2200, I'm going to try to go for 2400 megahertz on the RAM with some decent timings, I should be able to beat a bunch of DDR4 timings and get the placement again. Right now, the placement isn't all that good. So I was top 20 in the competition right now, but now I am 21st place, basically. I'm not top 20 anymore. It's like someone talk Chinese. Yeah, if you go on the hardwarebot.org, just hwbot.org, you can go on and click on the competition and go on to Team Competition 2024 for HardwareBot, and then you can check out the competition. There's a whole bunch of stages for like AMD, Intel, NVIDIA, AMD CPUs, Intel CPUs, and NVIDIA graphics cards and AMD graphics cards. Yeah, building computers isn't too hard to do. So you just gotta take your time. So the other day I built a computer. I gotta fix a capacitor on this board. So these boards are older and they're overclocking boards, so the capacitors go through a lot of charging and decharging as just the years go by and using them. I blew up one of the capacitors right here on it, just on the side. I'm not even sure what that capacitor goes to and why it even went like it went. It just went poof. Poof right in my face. It stunk pretty bad, so I had to put the fan on high and get all that nasty smoke out. It's pretty bad though, but I had a second board of this one, so I put together the system still. Someone needed a quick PC to play some games. But yeah, I gotta take off that capacitor, go through my other scrap boards basically, and see if I can find the same capacitor or one that can do the same voltages but a different like charge basically, so it can hold more charge, and then we'll see if that blows. If that blows, then there's got to be a fuse blown onto it, which isn't a big deal. It's how you test without having a whole bunch of equipment, or you could do other things too, but it takes a long time. So I'd rather just take that off, replace it with a capacitor that's either equal to it or better. You don't want to go below it. But that's it. What would it cost? About $5,000 right now, but it depends on what you're doing. If you're just looking for gaming, you're gonna have like, yeah, $5,000 system is gonna be your best. If you're doing hard workstation type stuff, like probably about 50 to 75,000 would be your minimum, and then you can go up from there. So just for daily gamers and that, or even professionals, $5,000 system. Yeah, the best graphics card cost almost five. Yeah, the best graphics card almost cost $4,000. So, and then you gotta buy the 14900 KS. You gotta buy the best RAM. You gotta buy the best motherboard, which the best motherboard's 1,000. 14900 KS is around 600 or 700 right now. The best RAM kits for it are about $600. So yeah, we're talking over 5K. And we're not even talking like SSD or NVMe yet. NVMe drives for the best ones are about $400. Or you can get like what I use is a 980 Pro 2 terabyte. They're about 250 to 300, but still top of the best. Yeah, we're talking a lot of money for if you want to go into certain things. But just for gaming and that, like some of the best are about 5-6 grand for a PC. Yeah, €5. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this. Cause I got that kind of money. I got the €5 kind of money, not the 5K. So, yeah, again, it's all delidded. I've shown videos how I delid it. It's not how people should delid it, but this is how I show in videos how I do. I just use a machinist vise, and you just do it a certain way, and you can delid any CPU no problem. Lapped as well. The lap die is a lap die, and then lap IHS both sides. We're gonna try to get that 5.2 gigahertz. Really hope I can get that 5.2 gigahertz. It's very high. If I can get 5.2 gigahertz onto it, and then see if I can put it to a 2-core. So I'm gonna probably start with 3 or 4 core for 5.2 gigahertz, and then I'll put it down to 5.2 gigahertz or to 2 cores, and I'll see if I can get 5.3 gigahertz for a CPU frequency, and that should be like part of the top before you go to liquid nitrogen. This is a pretty good CPU. I bought it broken. Because the person didn't know what was wrong with it, but I knew from the pictures he's shown that there was a blown SMD on the back side of it. So those little SMDs that you can see there, one of them was blown. So I just replaced it, and what do you know? I got a i7 3770K for like $5. The motherboard is a Z77 Sabertooth. It's pretty much one of the best ones for overclocking i7 3770K or those series, the 3rd gen. So I'll be using that for the competition. And then you can see over here, this is the water cooling setup that I use for basically all my CPUs that I put through. There are a bunch of tests that I like to do just for air, and then just keep the air scores for as long as I can before I go to water. It's more or less, it's easier to scale for temperature and that for voltages and see where you're going to be at. You can use a really good air cooler and get some really good scores too. So that's that. So what I'm going to do on this is show how I paste it. Make sure they're all clean. We got to make sure everything is clean. Yeah, fastest processor is definitely the 14900KS right now. For stability, like if you're going with AMD, you're gonna see higher frames on their 5800X3D and their 7800X3D, but you're gonna have way worse lows, which is the gameplay is not gonna feel as good as like the 14900K or KS. Like you'll see like maybe 30 or 50 frames lower with the 14900KS or K, but you'll have better lows, so your lows won't go as low as AMD. As AMD has, it's called AMD dip, people are calling it. It will dip, it'll just dip right down, and then you'll see it, you'll feel it in the game. So there's no point of, if you're a gamer, to go with AMD, especially if you're gonna have that kind of dip. Just makes your gaming experience not worth it, in my opinion.